Hello and welcome to the 2 Minute Power Trip of Wrestling. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me today, former WCW and WWE superstar. You may know him as Jimmy Wang Yang or Akio. He is, of course, a former All Japan Pro Wrestling Junior League Tag League winner. He is Jimmy Yang. Jimmy, welcome to the 2 Minute Power Trip. How you doing?
Howdy, JP. I'm back, baby. Forgot the Flying
Yes.
Elvis deal, though. The
Yes, I wish you
first
would have.
ever, first ever
Damn.
TNA match. Beat AJ
Yeah.
Styles. So
Damn it. Who else was that? Sonny Siaki. And was it Johnny Estrada?
Jorge Estrada.
Jorge Estrada. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yep, and then
The Flying
AJ.
Elvises.
Yeah, AJ, Loki, and
Daniels.
no,
Oh,
Jerry
Jerry
Lynn.
Lynn. Sorry, Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, and then the 20th anniversary is coming up in June, so you might see your boy soon. So.
Oh, nice. I like that. I like that. That's such a great gimmick. Who the hell's idea was that? It was such a weird gimmick. Was
Yeah, it
that?
wasn't great. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Was that
remember this?
Jeff?
You remember the story I told you about it?
I'm trying to remember who was like the idea behind it. Though. Was it Jeff? What was?
So the original idea came from Hunter, Shawn Michaels, and Vince Russo. And when they wanted to do it in WWE at the time, and they went to Vince and told him about the gimmick, and Vince told them, "It's like, what kind of drugs are you guys on?"
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
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 It's like flying Elvises. And then that's what Hunter told me. He told me that was his idea. And then when I went back to TNA for the one appearance, Russo was down there, and I went straight to ask him about the story about them pitching at events. And he's like, "Oh yeah, me, Sean, and Hunter went to Vince, and he asked us what drugs we're on." So he kind of confirmed it. So
That's great. But what are you up to today? What's going on in your world?
oh man, so much going on. I just all over the place right now, and then it's coming up soon is WrestleCon, and I'm gonna be really really busy down there. So like we just got back from Ohio yesterday. We got WrestleCon coming up. We gotta go to New York. Just a lot. I'm really busy right now.
What do you got going on in WrestleCon? Because I saw your name popping up all over the place.
Yeah, so Hyber School Wrestling is bringing me down, and they're bringing also Shannon Moore. So we're going to do the appearances and signings. We're going to do a special 3-count Young Dragons, Redneck, Reject, Connection, Prince of Punk combo
Nice.
picture. We'll be there all weekend and signing and taking pictures. But now GCW called me. They want me to be part of this clusterfuck, and I'm going to fuck the cluster out of that thing and whatever that thing is. And then we got some wrestling shows with Hyper School of Wrestling. Some other surprises I can't say yet, but we'll be down. I'll be down there all weekend with Jazzy Yang, Shannon Moore, Hyper School of Wrestling, GCW, High Spots, and a few more things.
Nice, keeping very, very busy. So, how's Jazzy doing? How is she progressing in this crazy business?
Jazzy's awesome. I tell you, she's like already so much better than me at that age. And I was, in WCW, but at her age,
Yeah.
she's like to me in my eyes that she's already past me at that age. So
pretty impressive.
yeah,
Damn, she's catching on quickly. I guess good genes in the pool there.
good teacher too.
Yes, good teacher. Yeah, it's all you. Yeah, forget about her. It's all on you doing that. But that's great though. That you're able to kind of do that with her, do signings with her, do shows with her. I mean, that's awesome.
And really, I was telling people this week this is actually the funnest time I've ever had in wrestling. Teaming with my daughter, like it's just unbelievable experience, and I'm just having so much fun being with Jazzy, teaming with her, coaching her, traveling with her, and everything. It's just, and it's it is the funnest time I've had in wrestling.
Pretty cool, and pretty cool. You get to share that with her too. You're hanging out with your daughter. She's getting, work in the business. She's progressing. She's moving on up. I mean, it's pretty cool. Pretty awesome experience for her as well.
Yeah, this is our daddy-daughter bonding. It's over pro
Yeah.
wrestling. So it's a little different, but that's how we bond, I guess. So or
Did
really
you
bond.
did you always want her in the business, or was there a little pushback at first?
I just wanted her to be happy. So it doesn't matter what she did or like if she was working at Chick-fil-A for the last 3 years, and if that satisfied her needs, that I would have been fine with it. But she has that crazy story about debuting in Japan at 15, and after that, she said, told me that, hey, Dad, I want to be a wrestler. I'm like, oh, at first it's like, oh crap, it's like, but I tell everybody, wrestling got let me do a lot of things. I've been around the world 20 times. I've been to Japan 50 times. It's you know greatest time of my life is doing professional wrestling. I don't why would I not want that for my daughter? So like at first it was a little bit and people try to talk me out of it. How crazy wrestling is, all this stuff that happens in the back on the road, the guys, the boys, all this stuff. I was like, yeah, well, that happens at McDonald's. Like,
Right. Yeah.
that happens every day in every kind of profession. It's not, it's just there's drama everywhere, and wrestling's no different than that. So why not?
Do you actually prefer taking bookings with you on the booking, like on the card, or do you like her to like kind of venture off and do things on her own and be more independent?
Right now, I like being with her.
Mm.
Like I'm still dad, and she's still really green in the business. Um, so I'm not sure if I really trust the idea that if she had to go to California by herself, or any other states, Texas, or and just knowing what to do, or how to hit, or how to travel, how to deal with the boys, and the promoters and everything like that. So right now, I do like to be with her, but I'm gonna have to let her go by herself soon. So.
Do you foresee like a father daughter like tag team champion run like in the future? Do you foresee that?
If, I think that'd be interesting for sure. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
yeah, I don't think so either. So like it's definitely, you know, I think that's a great idea for the business. We'll see what happens. So like, but me, like, like I'm not coming back to be a full time wrestler. So I'm not really. It just depends on the situation and where and when, and if I'm willing to take win some titles and actually pursue like a real father daughter angle or story. So
Right. Now, obviously, you were just in WWE. What happened there? What was the whole story? Because I remember somebody reported some false information or was inaccurate information. So, what happened? The departure from WWE.
first, JP, that was just like a horrible job. So horrible. Like
Yeah.
WWE paid me like a lot of money to travel. They made me stay in 5-star hotels, and I got to help produce Raw, SmackDown, and Main Event. Um, I hope you can tell I'm being sarcastic, and hope
Yes.
everybody else there
Yes.
knows I'm being sarcastic. So like,
Yeah.
uh, it was a great job if you could handle the pressure and the intensity of that job. And it's pretty intense. Like producing matches. You have like Vince McMahon in this year, you have Kevin Dunn in this year, and you got a million things going on. And it was such a rush and so much adrenaline. Like but I loved it, because that's what I live for. Um, but it was a fun time during that time. But business, WWE live business was not doing well. They gave me the budget reason, and like this is the first time I actually believed it. Like because they had these 15,000 seat, 20,000 seat arenas, only 3 to 4,000 people are showing up. So I understand business. I've been a business owner for the last 10 years. Um, you got WWE spends a lot of money to produce Raw, SmackDown every week, and they have a lot. WWE has a lot of bills, a lot of expenses, and when you're spending that much money and not making much money, you got to cut your expenses, you got to lower your bills, and that's in my opinion, that's what happened. Why they didn't sign me to be a producer because at the time, WWE live business wasn't doing good. I was an extra expense, so they had to not sign me at the time. So.
So was it like a tryout basis? Or you weren't technically working there as of yet when you were there?
Yeah, it was just a tryout. Like there was actually, it's kind of weird this time. Like there was no paperwork. It was like an old school wrestling deal. It's just a handshake. Say, hey, we can come every week. We'll pay you this much amount of money, and hopefully it leads to a future. Or if not, we just part ways and part ways this time. But I don't think you've seen the last of me in WWE. So
All right.
we'll see what happens.
So literally a handshake deal, and there was no contract or anything. It was like, hey, let's see what happens. No technical deal. It was in place.
Yeah, there was no paperwork signed, nothing. I just got a phone call. We agreed on the amount. Next thing you know, I got flight information, rental car information, and I went to Houston. And it was just really odd for me this time, just because there was no paperwork and no agreement. Like it was like the old school wrestling deal, a handshake deal with WWE, and in 2022 or 21, that's unheard of, but
Yeah.
I understand it on their part, like if they didn't like me, just adios, So
Right. Yeah. So who calls you? Like, who's the one that actually is arranging the deal?
Johnny Laurinaitis, so he's he's the guy in charge, and he called me first, and we made that agreement, and then under him is Jason Jordan, and then I started dealing with Jason Jordan a lot, So.
What do you think of Johnny Ace? I know you know him from your WCW days, and maybe even more than that.
Yeah, I've known Johnny for over 20 years, so I personally I'm a big fan of All Japan Pro Wrestling, so he was one of the main gaijins over there
Yeah.
in the 90s. Then I was there in WCW on his first day, and his first I just found this out recently that his first match that he produced was 3 Count versus Young Dragons when Lance Storm debuted
Yeah.
in
Wow.
WCW. I think I
Wow.
probably heard that from your podcast or no, somewhere I heard that, but
Lance Storm. When I interviewed Lance, he was talking about it.
yeah, with you, right? So that's
Yeah.
where I heard it
Yep.
from. I was like, that was actually your first match, and that night, that's the one because I was working on nightly. Me and Jamie Noble were working on nightly deals, and that's when I got my contract back, my second contract with WCW after that match. But I don't, I don't actually remember him producing that match. But that's I was so young and dumb and what did as a kid in candy shop in WCW, so like I didn't really know what was going on. So, but
Did you think like when he was in WCW? Did you think like, okay, this is great. This is this guy who's a legend from All Japan, the Mister Finish guy himself. Like, did you think that at all, or you weren't even like like paying attention to any of that kind of stuff when he was there?
yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. Like I was just like, oh, I get to be on Nitro tonight, like cool. And back then I was thinking about all the cool spots I can do. I said, oh, I can do this moonsault here and this kick here, and I just focused on the match. I didn't, I know at that time I was so young and didn't really know much, but I just knew we had like 6 different bosses during that time I was there, and that's not good business. But like I didn't know who was in charge.
Right.
Uh, so it's kind of crazy time. But I remember when he came and everybody's like, a lot of people didn't didn't welcome him with open arms, but like I was a fan, so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, Ace Crusher, baby, and so yeah.
So funny. I was talking to a Shane Thorne, who was obviously Slapjack at the V, and he was saying that he was a part of the video games when they were doing 2K, whatever it was. But Johnny Ace was there with him, and they were asking him to do some of the moves, like, "Oh, you got to do an RKO," or they would refer to it as the Diamond Cutter, like, "Oh, you know how to do it correctly." And he goes, "Hold on a second." And Johnny Ace was over there. He goes, "Johnny, come over here." He goes, "This is this guy's move. It's called the Ace Crusher." He goes, "Do you want to know how to do it correctly? Ask this guy." Like I just
Oh,
thought that
that's
was so funny. Like even guys making the games have no clue what's going on. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Slapjack knows that.
Yeah.
I didn't know he knew his history like
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's good. That's
I
good.
just think that's great though. It's like, wow, the people making the games like, oh, we're doing the RKO right, and it's like you have Johnny Ace, the guy who invented the move, and then obviously RKO is like three guys removed from that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
I just think that's funny that they don't really pay attention to like they just know Randy Orton does it, for instance. Like they just pay attention to the here and now.
yeah. That's my niece and nephew. Everybody says RKO. You know,
Yep.
so in my generation, it's the diamond cutter. You know, and
Yes.
but
Yep.
really it came from Johnny Ace from the Ace Crusher. You know, so
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
So with Johnny Ace in WWE, is he like the guy who's in charge of all the agents, or is that not really his role?
So now, you know, it's not he's like a producer manager, right? And then Jason Jordan is his where he where his where he's Jason Jordan is where Johnny Ace or Johnny Laurinaitis used to be.
Right.
Jason's in charge of all the producers, uh, and Johnny overlooks Jason. You know, so Jason Jordan is the new Johnny Ace of or Johnny Laurinaitis of WWE.
Interesting. I guess he's definitely his career is I guess is definitely over because of the neck injury, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So with that, like he's the in charge of the agents, but what is like your role specifically? I know we always say road agent, producer, and people think they know what that means. Like, what is it really like day to day? Is it just you get a specific wrestlers and you're attached to those wrestlers, or does it change?
It changed, and the producers actually have so much responsibility. It's not just producing a match. You know, we help with the. I don't know if I can tell you all the stuff.
Oh,
You know, there's a lot that we're part of, creative, dealing with talent, but our main job is to communicate wrestler to producer to production truck. So you know, we all know the business from the wrestler perspective. We know the flow of the match, what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, um, and it's our job is to communicate that to the production truck for they know what's going on for with camera angles. Like they, you know, the production producers and directors in the truck are, you know, college graduates, understand, you know, like understand everything on the production side of TV. But we know everything uh, with wrestling. Like, you know, we know what's going to happen in the ring. So we're like the middleman for wrestler and producer truck. If that makes
yeah,
sense to you.
yeah,
So we're
yep,
like and then we have to call times and cues and you know the high spots, the finishes, the false finishes, the aftermath, and then we I guess we have a script, producers have a script, and we're trying to connect that script together. If that does
gotcha.
that make sense? You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah,
From
absolutely,
wrestler
yeah.
to production. Like,
So you guys got to do a lot of like homework, kind of like in between. You guys got to know everything. You know what I mean? Got to know
yeah,
A to C, and you guys to
yeah,
be the B. You know, you got to connect everything. You're the
yeah,
bridge.
yeah. We're the bridge from wrestler to production truck. Yeah.
Was that kind of I don't know, like no, I guess a lot of pressure would be like I guess maybe a different way of saying it, but is that a lot of like I don't know. I guess there is no other way to say it, but is that just a lot of pressure? You're sitting there. You said you got a few guys in your ears. You got to make sure the match goes well, but you also have to make sure that they're following times and cues and they're executing it properly. Like, what is that to you? It sounds like pressure cooker.
Boy, it's intense, boy. It's just so much pressure, and like really, uh, I haven't been that nervous since I was wrestling, like for WWE. Like the live TV. Like I said, you got Vince McMahon in this year, you got Kevin Dunn in this
Yeah.
year, you got a million things going on for that 8-10 minutes that you're on that headset. Like that adrenaline is going, and Vince and Kevin, they expect, the top quality product, and you're trying to deliver that, as a producer. Um, but that's so much pressure, and it's intense, but it's like such adrenaline rush. Like when things hit perfectly, it's the greatest feeling in the wheel in the world,
Yep.
and when things go bad, it's not fun. So it's It's
If
pretty intense.
it goes bad though, is it your fault or the wrestler's fault?
So like you can't control what people do out there. Like you can guide them and try for hope for the best. But like, uh, but if things go bad, even in a match, like I'm not a guy that points fingers at people. Oh, it's your fault, your fault, your fault. I'd totally take the blame for everything. Like, I had one match that was really bad, and say, hey, I was a producer, put the heat on me. I have no problem putting the heat on myself. Like, but I was in charge of that match. So whatever happened in the match, even though if talent forgets a spot or they can't hear the cues or anything like that, but it's my job to make sure they hit those spots, hit those times, facing the right direction of the cameras, everything like that. And if it went bad, it's on me because I should have, went to that talent and say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is when you need to do it, how you need to do it, and face this way. And so I would, segment was bad, I'd be the first one to raise my hand and say, hey, yell at me.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd probably try to protect the talent. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Kind of.
Do you have specific talent you always working with, or does it always change?
It changed kind of on weekly, but they kind of stuck me with a few of the guys. Like that they think I would help the most. Like so I was working a lot with, my first match was a season premiere, and it was the 4-way ladder match with AJ. No, not AJ. Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor. Uh, who was the last guy? Somebody. But then they would, they would pair me up with guys like my style of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They would put me with. Like I would work with Ricochet a lot, Drew McIntyre, Street Profits, Chad and Otis, Reggie, R-Truth. I think, but yeah, but they would pair me what they think I would help the most, like my style, like a Ricochet,
Yeah.
or Mustafa Ali, like they're like, oh yeah, put Jimmy with him because they're very similar in
Yep.
their wrestling.
So you're not really married to the guy, though. They do switch it around, it seems like.
Yeah, and then but this is a trial run, so they just bounce me around with everybody, So but I had those guys more than the other guys, So.
Right. You always hear like maybe Pat Patterson would be working specifically with like Bret Hart or something, or Hogan. Like he would be like certain guys with certain guys. Arn Anderson was just John Cena guy. Like you hear sometimes they once a guy gets comfortable or they see something they like, they'll stick that guy. Fit Finley with the women, like they'll stick the guys with somebody that they're comfortable and just like, okay, this is working perfectly. We'll keep them with those people.
Yeah, and that's also trying to keep talent happy about the situation too. So like a lot of guys, oh, I want to work with that producer because they know my style. Going back to it, like Finn or Seth or Ricochet or Ali. It's like, oh, I want Jimmy to be there because he knows what I want to do. So it's also talent friendly and also producer or I was trying to think like matching up, or I guess Jason would like, oh yeah, Jimmy would be good with these guys,
Right.
you know.
So there's a real thought put into it from behind the scenes, from Johnny and Jason and stuff like. There's real thought put into like these guys would really help these guys make this match better, or this segment better.
Yeah, yes, a lot of thought with Jason. I think more just Jason. Johnny's just doing so much other stuff, but Jason is really the guy that puts all the thought in and who would help and what producers are for what match and everything like that.
It's funny, Ricochet's like looking up to you. He's not used to your matches. Michael Cole recently said on SmackDown that he looked up to Johnny Knoxville and got his high flying moves from Jackass.
Did he really?
I couldn't stop laughing. I had
Yeah.
to rewind it when he's because I was
Oh
DVRing.
my
I had to
god.
rewind.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god! I go, did he really just say that? As I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, Ricochet got the 630 from Johnny Knoxville.
Oh boy, I can't believe he said
Yeah.
that.
Hey, maybe he was told to say it, but I just thought I was like, wow, they're really pushing the jackass thing a little too far.
Yeah.
Really trying to push up Johnny Knoxville. But let's be honest, he's really probably looking at Young Dragons, 3 count guys like your elk, not jackass. I'm guessing.
Yeah. That's that. Michael Cole was told to say that,
Yeah.
guaranteed. So, yeah.
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 So like when you're there, how is Vince? Like how is Vince McMahon? We just saw the interview with Pat McAfee. We got to see maybe a different side of Vince, but how is he really?
Personally, like he's always been great to me, and like even watching that interview, like I'm like I sounds kind of weird, but like I think I might be related to Vince somehow. I'm thinking like his lost son or something, like because everything he said is how I would respond to it, like you know. And I was like, man, you know, has he heard my interview with the 2 man power trip before? Like he's answering the same,
Right.
using the same answers I use, like but like he's always been down to earth like that to me, and I think that's what people got from that McAfee. It's like, oh, Vince is actually a really cool guy, dude, but he is this billionaire and has so much responsibility and everything like that. But every time I've had interaction with him, I've been so calm, like he's calmed me down. Like a lot of people are intimidated by Vince, and they should be. Like, but every time I walked in the room, like it just felt like I was talking to one of my boys. It
Mm.
sounds kind of weird, and and he's fired me 4 different times. So I should
Right.
be angry and or upset with the situation, but I'm not, and it's kind of weird, kind of comfort he brings me when I'm around him. So I can't, my situation with him has been great. I feel like I can talk to him like I'm just talking to you, John. And but I've seen him, you know, be in different moods all during the day, and definitely at that gorilla position. And I've seen bad, good, but personally, like he's always been great to me. He'd always fired me 4 times,
Hmm.
but that's how my relationship with Vince is. So.
I talked to a couple of guys that were released, and I was just amazed how some of them had a great like head on their shoulders, where they said like, because you hear so many complaints like, "Oh, Vince doesn't have time for the guys. He doesn't have time anymore." But he's running $1 billion company. I hear from a lot of the guys who were released recently saying like, "Well, we got the Saudi deal, NBC deal, the Fox deal, 1,000 people trying to talk to him, Johnny Ace and Bruce, and all these people trying to talk to him at all different times." It's like, how much time could he have for every talent? I mean, he's only one man, so kind of opening my eyes a bit more to like, wow, I was like, maybe this guy, he isn't as bad as everybody says he is. Just as far as like, oh, he doesn't have time for the wrestlers. I don't think he has a lot of time for himself sometimes. He's just so busy.
Yeah, and I have listened to some of the podcast, recent podcasts about guys, you know, saying, talking about Vince and all everything that goes on behind the scenes and stuff. But but the thing is that a lot of guys admitted it. It's like if you needed to go talk to Vince, he will make that a minute for you to open his door and listen to you. He'll give
Yeah.
you that time to talk to him. Uh, but he is that billionaire that has everything on his plate, but he does take that time. It might not be a lot of time, but he will give you that minute, during the day, and when you have that minute, you just hopefully you can get out what you want to tell him. And, but Vince is the greatest businessman I ever met in my life. And I know he has so much stuff going on, but if you want a minute with Vince McMahon, you can go have a minute with Vince McMahon. If your talent or we had a lot of leeway, so we was able to talk to Vince a lot as a producer. But talent, producers, uh, catering, travel, he will give you a minute if you need it. So
Seems like the producers maybe can help the wrestlers. Like maybe the wrestler goes to the producer. Like, would a guy ever go to you and say, "Hey, can you give this idea to Vince or say it to Vince?" And you kind of be the liaison for some of the guys.
Yeah, and that's why when I was up there, I told all the talent, say, hey, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want to do, and your ideas and your angles and whatever you have. Tell me, and I will go to Vince and say, hey, this guy, this is what he wants. This is how he feels about this story, this angle, character, whatever. Because I get 5 minutes with Vince. So like
Yep.
I'll do my job and then produce the match, and then if I have enough time, and say, hey, and that's even with Chad and Otis, like with the 4 Otis and the academy, and you know it was we worked together and talked about the 4.0 and the valedictorian and all this kind of stuff, and
Yep.
when I had a shot to tell Vince about it, I said, yeah, this we need to go Chad and Otis, with his 4 Otis, um, these ideas about him being a genius, like comparing him to the genius, like, and I was able to, you know, give that idea to Vince, so, and they used it a month later after I was gone.
Yeah.
So,
Right. They wrote it down and remembered it for sure.
yeah. So,
I think a lot of people remember a very famous incident that happened a few months ago, and you broke it up. Kind of were one of the first people to come and break it up. Seth Rollins, that maniac kid, came out of the stand, felt like from like 100 feet away, came in, speared Seth. Obviously, Seth has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know the kid's going to attack him. But what the hell? Like, what were you thinking, and what was going through your mind there? I mean, obviously, horrible job by security, not being able to stop him before he got to Seth. But what was your like thought process? What the hell was going through your mind when that happened?
so crazy situation, but like Seth's match was, I was I was a producer for the next match after Seth's. So I'm sitting in Gorilla about to take the headsets, and so Billy Kidman is in Briscoe's position in the Gorilla position. So he's sitting in the middle. He has all the monitors. He sees it all. And I'm walking up there, and all of a sudden just heard Seth got attacked, and boom, Adam goes, Billy goes like, and without an instinct, I go. Like only thing I'm
Yeah,
thinking is, Seth got attacked, and we need to go out there and protect him.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it was so fast, and but like I said, Billy sees it all. Billy sees it all, and he yells out, "Seth got attacked!" Boom! Adam goes, boom! Billy goes, boom! I go, and I didn't even think about being on camera or anything like that. The only thing I thought about is protecting Seth, and that's like a wrestler mindset. If somebody charges, we protect the boys, and we go out there and protect our boys. So and that's what happened. That was my mindset at that time.
I just thought that was so crazy that that could happen from like that far away. You know what I mean? Like the security, like what in the world? Obviously, the camera people, nobody else is even paying attention because they're focused on Seth, and he's got to have certain reaction after the match, and then that guy comes out of nowhere. The first people out there really were like the referees, which always seems to happen. The referees always seem to be,
Yeah.
um, and Seth obviously maybe smartly didn't really attack the guy. You know what I mean? Like I know back in the day, I'm sure the guy would have got his ass kicked by the wrestler, but nowadays, who knows? Seth kicks him in the head or something. Maybe the guy sues WWE. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
almost better off he didn't
Yeah.
do anything. Yeah.
And really, my mindset, that was going to be my job. So I was going
Yeah.
out, like I said, I was going out there to spider monkey this dude. Like I was
Yeah.
like, let me do it. And then, luckily Billy and Adam got there before me, and but and then I did like Adam Billy had him arms behind his back and bringing them toward me, and wrestler instinct, I said, dude, I should drop this guy right now. Like throw it right straight
Yeah.
down the
Yeah.
middle. I
Yeah.
was like, but
Yeah.
then I was thinking with cameras and fans, and I was like, oh crap, like you know I
Yeah.
avoided with physical contact. But funny story about that, we was dragging this dude out, on the floor, and all of a sudden, like, it gets intense. We were like, oh, we wanna, you know make sure this guy never does this again. And we're dragging him across the floor, and all of a sudden his pants go down to his ankle, and his like ass are hanging out, his balls are hanging out. So it turned
Oh,
like really intense story, like intense moment, and then all of a sudden, like started laughing. I was like, "Oh shit, that dude's!" I see his balls like dragging
yeah.
across the thing. So it's
Yeah, how could you beat this guy up now? I mean, come on, you
yeah,
can't beat him up now.
yeah, it's pretty
And
crazy situation.
it's just crazy. Like back in the day, I mean, obviously, even in my head, I'm like, I'll beat the shit out of that guy. But nowadays, it's like this guy did something wrong. But watch, if you beat him up, he'll end up suing, and he'll be in the right. And it would have been horrible. Hopefully, obviously he's banned from future shows, but it's still a horrible situation. I guess he gets arrested and sent to jail for the night, or I don't even know what happens.
Yeah, that's how. But I heard he came back to another show. But like, really, what I saw with that kid, he was mentally handicapped. So
Hmm.
he wasn't all that. He was special. So like,
Yeah.
good thing I didn't give him a
Yeah.
sucker punch when his hands behind his back and break his nose or something.
Yeah.
Like,
It would have been triply as bad. Yeah.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, I know the internet at first would have loved me, and then Jimmy
Yeah.
Yang got a sucker punch with the,
Yep. Yep, that's the other thing. Yeah,
yeah,
I think if I remember correctly, he said something about, I guess somebody catfished him. It was Seth Rollins from a fake name, obviously, but he didn't realize it. But I guess that was the reason behind it, that he thought Seth Rollins owed him money or something. It's something weird like that.
yeah, something weird like that, and then he did it for Rikishi. He did it for. I saw some kind of interview with him. And he said, "Oh, I did it for Rikishi." I was like, And then as I putting two and two together, it's like, okay, this guy's not all there,
Yeah, yeah,
So I was like,
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah, just crazy. But I just remember seeing it. I was like, "Oh, look at Jimmy! Wonder what he's going to do with this guy. What's going on there?"
yeah,
Oh, nothing. It was like, you get pumped up. You're like, "Oh, the adrenaline's running. Rushing. This guy's going to get his ass kicked. Everybody's running now. Blah blah." And it's like nothing.
yeah.
And then obviously behind the scenes, he drops his pants, and
Yeah,
everybody has a laugh.
yeah. And that's the thing. I didn't, running out there. It was just wrestler instinct, just to go help Seth. Like you know, I know afterwards everybody's like, "Oh, Jimmy Wayne Yang, Jimmy Wayne Yang." I was like, "No, no, 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 it's not. It's I, I guess I should have expected, but I wasn't even thinking when I ran out there about anything else except protecting Seth. So and I know the picture went viral and everybody's found out I was back in WWE. So
Yeah, I think that's how everyone realized you were back. I think it was from that situation. It wasn't like hidden, right? Like that you were back. It just nobody really knew, I guess.
yeah, I kept it hidden, because
Oh,
I knew it was a tryout period, so I didn't want. I said I wanted to pen the paper before anybody announced that I was officially back. But I've been around this business a long time and I know how things work.
yeah,
So I was like, not. I was trying to kayfabe the kayfabe me being there, but wrestling fans are stooges and people,
yeah,
But that one made it official. Everybody sees me out there in that picture and with Seth, and then it's like, oh crap, I hope I get this job because it's gonna be like the fourth
yeah.
time getting fired. It's kind of, you know, I guess it's not that embarrassing, but like I guess it kind of is getting fired from one company four times. So
It's almost halfway to Genetti country there.
I'm past Janetti. I've
No,
passed him a long
he
time.
7 or 8 times he got fired from WWE.
Really, we got to do this
Yeah.
research, like, because that's the
Yes.
one thing I'm living on is the most times being fired by
Oh.
WWE. So
Oh,
like,
I think you're wrong. I think it's Genetti. I think it's
oh
Genetti.
no way, like officially, like like bring
Because
back for one
when
night.
he was there for the Rockers at first, he got fired. Then they brought him back. So 2 stints as the Rockers in the '80s. So that's there's twice there. Then he gets fired. Then he comes back. I got to figure it out with
Yeah,
Genetti.
think
But
about
yeah,
another one. I know he came back that time.
93 he got fired. 94, 96. What was the year that he came back? Oh, 05
Yeah,
when
05. Yeah,
he got fired. Then there was another appearance. Yeah, I could have sworn somebody said it was 7 times that he was fired, but I'll try to figure it out officially.
oh man,
You might be shit out of luck.
I still have some time.
They'll
Yeah,
bring you back. They'll bring.
yeah.
Was there any other times though, as like the road agent or the producer, that you came out and got beat up? I'm trying to think. Like, was there like a Brock Lesnar beating up all the agents kind of thing, or no?
No, I think they kept me kind of secret. You know, they
Mm,
try to keep me secret. You know, like because I don't know. I guess you know people love Jimmy, or I guess people like Jimmy Wang Yang a lot. You know, so every
yep.
time I even that time, you know, I didn't want only thing is thinking about protecting Seth, but I didn't want steal any kind of spotlight from you know, and that's kind of it was kind of surprising. Like this act happened, this crazy act, this fan killing almost you know, attacking Seth, and you know,
Yep.
things could have been so much worse. And everybody sees the pictures. Oh, Seth got attacked. Oh, Jimmy Wayne Yang's back. You know, like it's like, oh no, like I didn't want, you know, I didn't think I'd get that kind of attention, but like, but that I think they keep me away. If I would love to run out there and get destroyed by Brock or you know
Yeah.
somebody like probably do some kind of crazy bump where, but people would. I don't know. I think they kept me kind of quiet. Like, but I didn't get to do any of the pull aparts or you know what anything like that. You know, so.
Recently, Hurricane and a few other like Pat Buck got beat up by Charlotte and Ronda. Not like beat up and stuff, but like Charlotte's like, and she punched Hurricane in the face, and you know he's got to sell and stuff. So sometimes it's funny, like the situations that they put some of the producers in. It's just like, oh, they're there to break up the fight, and then all of a sudden the Hurricane turns around and she pops him.
Oh, I would have loved to done that. You know, that's would have been great.
Yeah.
You know, so
Hey, they were just trying to break up the fight, but Ronda and Charlotte took it too far. They started beating Pat Buck and Jamie Noble and Hurricane. All that they started beating them all up.
yeah, I would have started running spots with Ronda or you know Charlotte. Like, Jimmy, what are you doing? You know, but it'd been fun. You know, so
I always remember back in the day, you know, you had Rene Goulet, Tony Gurria, Pat Patterson, like those guys that would always
yeah,
come out and break up the fights and
hmm
sometimes get beat up a little bit or slaughter or something. You know, you come out, you break up the fights.
yeah,
Blackjack, Lanza, like those are
yeah,
the guys I remember. But now it's all, you know, these not younger guys, but these younger guys, obviously than the Gurria and them. But
yeah,
it seems like a younger crew
yeah.
as a road agents now. You know what I mean? Like Arn was there, Mike Rotunda was there. It's like they're all kind of phased out, and it seems like a lot of younger guys.
Yeah, and then even when they run out, like all the producers become the biggest pussies in the world. Like it's
Yeah,
like you know these Jack Black, Lanza, and Gurria, you know, like and,
yeah,
even Hurricane and Jamie and like these badass wrestlers from the day, you know, and then they start doing the jobs with everybody there. It's like it's funny, but it's
that's
yeah,
just the way it is. Yeah, like Adam
yeah,
Pearce will come out, or
yeah,
well, now he's an official or whatever they call him. But Ben,
yeah.
when he would come out, they beat the shit out of him. Reigns
Yeah.
would beat him up or whatever. Yeah,
Dean Malenko, like guy would tap you out in a heartbeat. You know,
yeah.
he's gonna throw it around. You know, but it's fun.
Do the guys
Yeah.
volunteer for for spots like that, or is Adventure somebody like no, get the agents out there, or they maybe they want a little bit of the spotlight, a little bit of the TV time. Hey, we'll run out there and do it.
Oh, it's great. Like you get a little bonus. Like that's an inside with you. Like if any producers run out there, there's an extra bonus with their check. So like if they would say, "Hey,
Oh,
you got to run out, break this," like everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it." You know, like
yes,
you know,
yes.
because it's like a little bonus you get for going out there and doing that. So.
Yeah, I'll take a German suplex from Brock. I'll get a bonus. All right, I'll do it. Yeah,
But a
sure.
lot of you know, we all love the spotlight, or not spotlight, but we like to be involved and be like you know, that's what a lot of wrestlers. It's hard for just to sit there and not do nothing and just put a headset and call, you know, because we've been in the ring for so long. Like we want to do something, you know, like you
Yep.
know, I want to run out there and take a bump for Brock or Ronda or Charlotte or somebody because that's you know that's our adrenaline rush as
Yeah.
performers. Like that's what a lot of us miss that, you know. So like but you get a bonus too. So it's like, oh, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, so
So with you, doors open for a possible return. I know we're joking around, say 4 times, you want to get fired again, but doors open for a possible return.
oh yeah, for sure. You know, like I yeah, and definitely with Jazzy's future, or you know, there's you know doors always open with WB. You know, like I try to tell people about this is like this is a good analogy. It's like WB's like the best girlfriend I've been with. You know, so it's
Mm,
like the best laid that I got, you know,
right.
like
Yep.
trying to so basically, you know, I got
Yeah. Oh yeah.
paid the most money and had the best time. Uh with this person. But it's also they broke my heart so many different times. You know, it's like a girlfriend, right? Like you break up with the girlfriend, but like, man, this was the best girlfriend, and she takes me back. It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna work this time, you know,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they break up again and say, no, there's no way I'm ever going back, you know. But damn, that pussy was good, you know. So all right, I'll go back again, you know, and then try to make things work, and it doesn't work again, and then you go home, and then she calls again at late night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and say, "Hey, I miss you. Want to come over?" You know, it's like, "Oh, okay, I'll be back." You know, so it's kind of, I don't know if that was a good analogy of
That was,
W.
you know what that was? That was very prophetic of you. That was,
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. It's like, go on.
that was great.
Yeah,
I guess though that is good that you keep the door open. I mean, in case they want to bring it back, or maybe hey, Jazzy down the line, you know, put it in the PC or something. I mean that's always great and always good to keep the doors open rather than burying them or whatever and shutting the door forever. Man, I think that's great.
yeah. I'll give advice to everybody to listen to this. Wrestlers that are now and wrestlers coming up and afterwards said, don't burn your bridges with companies that, you know, that's something that irritates me with these podcast interviews and guys, and you know, like, and they just want to bury the company that made you and paid you a lot of money, like, and you know, as long as you're professional, like they'll bring you back and give you other opportunities. But if you want to go and just shit on everybody and how horrible it was in WWE. It's so horrible. They were paying me $500,000 just to eat catering. Like, bro, get it. Come on. Like, seriously. Like, but yeah, advice to wrestlers now, present, coming up, older ones, don't burn your bridges. Like this, you know, like, please don't do that.
I love that Eric Bischoff, former boss of yours, jokes around and says WB is the greatest catering of all time. I love that he always says that, which is probably true because they probably give you a
Yeah.
nice spread back there.
Yeah, it used to be good, but I'm telling you, those budget cuts, man, they cut
Really?
cut a lot of budget in that time period I was there. You know, like that third quarter or whatever that
Hmm.
was. You know, catering changed. You know, like when when they let me go, I was like, oh, I understand that you guys not making money. Like it's okay. I understand business. I'm good. You know, like when when business is good, hopefully I'll be back, or maybe I'll be back, or Jazzy will be back, or whatever situation. But they cut. You know, everybody knows about the talent on the main roster. What, and they know what happened in NXT. But they were cutting budget from catering to their offices, the office staff. Like it's, you know, they're really redoing their budget, and so catering used to be awesome, you know. But that run, the last run I had 6 7 weeks, and whatever time period was at, it was like, man, what happened to catering? And you know, and then they did change up catering a little bit, so it
Wow.
wasn't what
Damn.
it used to be, you know. So
I saw though recently they're making a ton of money, a billion whatever return on the quarter. So I mean they're doing pretty good now.
I know you know this business, and so just don't believe everything you hear. You know, so like,
Oh.
so like, I don't. But business, you know, you never say, you know, hey, we lost this much money. You know, like even the Rick Ucchino from Believe podcast, you know,
Hmm.
he did his research and looked, and the time I was there, they spent like $17 million on the live events, and they made $1.5 million. You know, so
Yeah,
it's
the
not.
house. Yeah, it was that way down at that point. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then as a business, business owner or whatever, like, we're not making that much money. We got to cut. We got a budget. Like, you can't spend more money that we're not making this. So cut talent, cut producers, cut NXT, cut office, moving, downsizing their offices, their catering, um, everything, office staff. It was, yeah.
I always think if you don't have as many wrestlers, which obviously we saw that they cut, I think it was 100 wrestlers in 2021 alone. I think it was almost 100, maybe it was 90, but it was a lot of wrestlers that they cut last year. Obviously, if you have less wrestlers, you have less producers. Obviously, I mean, it just kind of goes hand in hand, right?
Maybe, but like WWE business, they have so much demand. Like but they're everybody's doing 2 3 jobs up there. Like it's kind of, like they needed us as producers. They needed me and Petey Williams. They needed these guys to come in
Yeah.
and help the load, because they have so much demand. Like even coming up WrestleMania, producers are involved with all the physicality, the WWE access, the dark matches, the main event matches, everything. Like there's so much stuff going on. They need producers. It's gonna be it's kind of they less wrestlers, but more demand, more events. Like it just put a workload on, double, triple workload on those producers, talent, referees. Um, so I kind of feel bad for everybody in that situation. Even office stuff, PR people, marketing people, digital. Everybody's doing double duty, triple duty, and you know they need more producers, they need more wrestlers, they need more staff, and but they have to fix their financials before that can happen. But it's gonna be a rough time for a lot of those employees, not just the producers, wrestlers, office, catering, or whatever. So hopefully
It,
yeah.
it's funny they do so well in some other aspects like TV deals and stuff, but the live events and the amount of people that were showing up, it's still not that great. But AEW is doing really good live events wise. I don't know if AEW is kind of like in your wheelhouse or not, or in your thought process, because they could probably use
Yeah.
some help over there.
Yeah, I love AEW, and I love them. I know a lot of people that work there, and that would be a great opportunity. We, I don't know, I've talked to a few people there about situations, like, just, future hotel, like if they need it, I don't know I see what they're doing on TV, and I've seen some numbers of the live events, and that seem like business is good, so.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny. The ratings sometimes not as great as you'd think, but then I always look at their live events and people going to shows. There's a ton of people going to shows in the big markets. They actually outdrew WB, which was pretty crazy if you think about it. So, for as many people that aren't maybe watching on TV or people think it's not as popular, I don't know. When you go to the live shows, it's almost more people going to AEW than WB sometimes.
And they do have more people,
Yeah.
but not. I don't know. Now it's WrestleMania season, so WWE's having some pretty good gates, but the one show that was really weird for me was the Long Island and Staten Island show. Um, that was a big day, a big interesting day for everybody because AEW is coming here to, 2 weeks later, and they sold 10,000 seats at this venue.
Yeah.
I think it was Raw. Edge came back and they're trying to build a house, and there was only 3,000 people there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was in Vince's backyard. That was a really weird day because New York is the king of media on the East Coast. So there's a lot of people there. NBC was there, and Vince was in a weird mood that day. Everybody was in a weird mood that day. And I think it's because AEW kicked Vince's ass
In
in
his
his
own
back
state.
in
Yeah.
his
Backyard.
backyard
Yep.
with all his NBC media or people there and everybody else. Like, hey, that other company sold this place out. You can
Yeah.
only, so that was
Yeah.
a weird day for me as a producer, but everybody was weird that day. So that was, yeah,
Yeah. It's funny.
they are drawing more than
Yeah,
WWE shows.
especially yes, and especially like Chicago, they draw obviously well. When Punk came back, they drew 20,000 people. I just
Yeah,
heard LA when their first show is going to be in the Forum, they sold that out more tickets than I think been sold in the Forum in a long time, especially for wrestling. Crazy, like wow, like maybe some competition out there for Vince, but which is good for wrestlers and producers and everybody else.
yeah, the competition's good. So and that's the thing. Like AEW, hopefully they can just keep this momentum that they have. you know, because they're still kind of new, and we'll see if they can do it 10 years from now. You know,
Yeah, see if they're still around. Yeah,
that's the
hopefully.
that's the question. You know, WB will always be around. You know, like, and they've been doing it for 40 years. You know, like AEW's 4 or 5 years, I think. You know, so like right now, yeah, they're the new, young, you know, hot product. Hopefully, you know, they can make it last and make it go longer, and because if their business good, you know, it gives more opportunities, more wrestlers, more business, you know. So hopefully,
As we hit the wind down here, we head towards the finish. Most important question I got to ask you, maybe the most important question of all time, Jimmy. You were on with Rick Bassman. Obviously, very, very sad Ryan Sakota had passed away, but it was great that you kind of livened it up because Chris Masters telling stories. You got Paul London on there. And, obviously Rick was telling some stuff. And then you had a great little nugget that I thought was great because it lightened the mood a little. It was something different. It wasn't like it was a good, happy story about Ryan, but it was just so funny because I was like, damn, I was like, who is the best? Who is the greatest vivid girl of all time? Yeah, who is the best? Yeah.
so you're just a perv like me, so
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
that's why
man.
you liked it. So, but it was,
I just thought I was
yeah,
like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? That was great.
yeah, and that's the thing. I went to like moving and those memorials and all, you know,
Yeah.
tributes and all that stuff. You know, it's kind of, you know, like at funerals, and it's always such a crazy time or experience, and you know, like, but I don't, you know, it's sad that we lost somebody, but you know, but like I like to remember the positive things about that person. Like, yeah, this dude was awesome. You know, this girl was awesome. Whoever, you know, I had this great moment with this person. But like, and that's the first thing when Rick contact me and say, "Oh, tell a good story or tell us a memory what you have with Ryan." Is like, first time I met him, we talked a little bit, and then next thing you know, we start talking about our '90s porn actresses. You know, so it's like, and you know, and you know, like, you know, tape traders like yourself, like wrestling, you know, trade tapes, right? Wrestling
Yeah.
tapes back in the
Yep.
day, you know, like,
Yep.
but it reminds me of the movie, like 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's like, yeah, I actually traded my porn collection with Ryan. You know, like I say, hey, bro,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know you're in Louisville. You know, he was in OVW,
Yeah.
and so we trade porn boxes. You know, like we actually did. You know, so
Yep.
that was like the first memory that popped out. It's like, yeah, I, you know, watching that movie, giving your boy a box of porn. You know, so, but so the greatest all time for Vivid is Raquel Darian. She's my number one. You know, she was you know, got this guy through high school, I guess. You know, or
Yes.
whatever. So
She
yeah,
was definitely a beauty. That's for. I would thought you might go Janine. That's what I thought you were going to say. I would pick Janine.
yeah, and
But Raquel
Janine's,
Dorian's not bad either.
yeah,
Obviously. Yeah.
Janine's awesome. You know, but she took so long to start banging dudes, and you know this. You know, so it's like kind of
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
yeah, yeah.
But
Uh,
Rick, it's funny. Also, Rick was like, "Oh, where's that picture of Ryan? Get it up there." We didn't know we were allowed to use like licensed pictures, but remember he
yeah,
freaked out about it. Yeah.
and
So
that's
I
how.
had it. I had it ready, but I was like, "Are we allowed to use the pictures?" Like, put it up there.
Yeah,
But
that's
he tried to bury the producers.
yeah, and that's how I've known Rick for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
so from UPW, I visited
Yeah.
UPW before,
Yeah.
and with all his guys and stuff, and he's that high strung agent, you know,
Yes.
LA guy, and
Yes.
yeah,
Definitely. Just thinking about you though, obviously Jimmy Wang Yang, everybody remembers Jimmy Wang, even the porn stars, even the people at AVN, they all know Jimmy Wang Yang. Was that just your favorite time wrestling, your favorite character, or like the favorite thing to do was Jimmy Wang Yang, or you have another kind of favorite in the business?
so Jim Wang Yang paid me the most money, you know, so like that's you know, that's the wrestler I wanted. Like nobody grows up say I want to be the Asian redneck. You know, like, I want to be the Asian redneck wrestler, or you know, a flying Elvis wrestler, or whatever I was. You know, like I just love wrestling, and it didn't really matter what gimmick I have. You know, like I just had fun with all of them. Uh, but you know, growing up, you know, I want to be a wrestler that people know. You know, I want to be on the video game. I want to have action figures. I want to have baseball cards and everything like that. And that character Jimmy Wang Gang gave me all that. You know, so like I don't know, like yeah, that was awesome to be that character, Jimmy Wang Yang, and got to be a you know recognizable talent. I guess like everywhere I went, people like stopped me and was like, oh, that's what you strive to be, and I hope people strive to be that kind of wrestler. Going out and you know people recognize you. You're on video games, action figures, baseball cards. But I never thought I'd be an Asian redneck. So it's like, but yeah,
What a gimmick! Yeah, it's funny though. Some guys, or like say bushwhackers, for instance, they took to the bushwhackers. They loved being the bushwhackers. They made so much money as bushwhackers. They were so much better as the sheep herders. From a fan perspective. Like, oh my god, they were killers. They were brawlers, having 5-star matches or whatever you want to say. They're having awesome matches. They're fantastic. But everybody remembers the bushwhackers. They made more money. But is that the same with you? Because I mean, so good in WCW, such a good high flyer. I mean, so ROH, TNA, everywhere. Is that the same thing with you? Yeah, but I made the most money as Jimmy Wang Yang. You know what I mean?
yeah, and it really is like that. But I've had, yeah, that's kind of like I'm just glad that people still remember me as a wrestler. Like nobody remember, like a lot of some people remember, but Akio and the Young Dragons and
Yeah.
the Flying Elvises, like people, you know. But I had great times with, like, isn't it really, like, go to your point, it's really not about the money. Like, I just had fun being a professional wrestler. It was as a Young Dragons, the Flying Elvis, to going to Japan and being this all Japan junior whatever I was, to Keo, to Jimmy Wang Yang. That whole time period was the greatest time of my life. So it's like I did make the most money with Jimmy Wang Yang, but like that doesn't really matter. Like, but I strive to be a wrestler that everybody would know, and be able to be on all that stuff, be in video games, that all that stuff, like it. So I just had a great time in wrestling. It doesn't matter, Jimmy Wang Yang, Keo, Young Dragons. I had, you know, just a great 20 years, 23 years in wrestling, so.
Are you still doing the redneck party bus?
It's still going strong, but I
Oh, it
moved.
is.
Yeah. But like it's still around. I actually sold the business. I didn't want to say it. So
Okay,
you know,
okay. I thought so. Okay, all right. So it's
so
still around. It's just not you. So don't go for it if you're
no,
out
still
there
go
looking
for
for
it
it.
for
Oh, still
sure.
go
It's
for it.
like,
Okay,
yeah, still go for it. I built a company up in Cincinnati. It's still going strong. Those guys are awesome that run it now. It's still the same, or my same driver still drives. Um, but that was a crazy time. It was a great time, great
great
business.
idea.
Yeah. And totally because of Jimmy Wang Yang, the marketing and everything went really well with that redneck party bus.
Yeah, awesome idea.
But I might start it down here in Atlanta. But right now, I'm focused on Jazzy's career and trying to help her, be successful in this business, and then we'll see what happens. So.
Before we let you go, where can everybody find you? Social media, everything like that.
So I went. The main traffic to me and to Jazzy Yang is the Facebook.com / Jazzy Wang Yang. Appearances there, merchandise is there. If you want to get in touch with me or Jazzy, everything goes to that Facebook page, Facebook.com / Jazzy Wang Yang. Um, that's where you'll find me. So,
Nice. Great stuff as always, Jimmy. Coming back again. Love it. Love having you on. Got to have you on again in the future. But thank you so much for all the time. Appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. Like, we're boys, man. We like the
Yeah,
same
damn right.
same porn, same wrestling. Yeah, I got to
Yeah,
ask you, like,
yeah,
really, I know we're
yeah.
going over time, but like, how'd you get the Hulk Hogan interview? Like, how that
A little bit of luck,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but that was awesome. That was a dream
yeah,
come true. Like people are like, oh, you're too obsessed. Even my wife's like, oh, you're so obsessed with Hulk Hogan. I was like, so what? My dad back in the day was obsessed with John Wayne. So what?
yeah, yeah. It's
You know,
awesome.
you know what I
I
mean?
Yeah, it's awesome. That's like that was I was real happy for you that you got
Yeah,
Hulk.
thank you. Yeah,
It's like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
that was awesome. It was short and sweet, but I didn't care. It's better than if I got zero time. I would have been pissed. You know what I mean? Like, hey, as long
yeah,
as I got him on, asked him a few good questions. Hey, TMZ picked it up, so I mean,
yeah.
obviously it was good to them. So that was awesome. Just dream come true, really. I mean, I'm a Hulkamaniac since '84. So
Yeah, I love that for you, man. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you. Yeah.
But next time we gotta get Christy Canyon on here. We get Janine,
I was gonna say
Raquel Darian.
I was gonna say we got to develop something. Brookhaven, Christy Canyon.
Brookhaven.
Those are the first two like rolling around my mind. They got to get them. Janine would be awesome too, or
Yeah.
Gentile, who I think
She passed away actually.
she really.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
See,
Oh man.
you're not
Damn,
you're
not
not
anymore. I'm not clued in anymore.
you're
Damn
not
it.
you
See,
gotta
I
get
got to
on it.
get clued in again. Damn.
You gotta get on those dirt sheets, man.
Yeah. Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
But
my new one's Kimmy Ganger. She's hot. You gotta check her out if you haven't. She's a
oh, now
new one.
I got to get back into it again. Damn. I got to look her up. Damn. All right. Definitely. But Jimmy, we got to develop this idea and we'll work on that. But thank you so much for all the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, JP. And it's always good to talk to you. And yeah, thanks, man.